My friends, today we gather to celebrate the strength, resilience, and courage of a woman who walks alone. A woman who may not have a husband beside her, but whose faith and purpose carry her through every storm. You see, the world often speaks about relationships, marriage, and companionship as the ultimate goal. Society sometimes tells a woman that she is incomplete without a man by her side. But I stand before you to declare that no woman walking alone is ever truly alone. For when she walks with faith, she walks with the Almighty Himself, and that is a companionship more profound than any earthly relationship. A woman who walks alone with no husband is a woman who is walking toward her destiny. She is not lost or lacking. She is simply in the process of becoming everything she was always meant to be. And while others may look upon her with pity or concern, she knows deep in her heart that God's hand is upon her life. You see, walking alone does not mean walking without purpose. No, my friends. It is a walk towards self-discovery. A journey that brings a woman face to face with her own strength, her own worth, her own calling. Through this journey, she is not merely surviving, she is thriving. Yes, there will be moments when the loneliness might try to creep in, when the weight of judgment from the world feels heavy. But listen to me now. There is strength in solitude. There is power in being alone with God. Just as Jesus spent time in the wilderness to prepare for His ministry, so too does a woman walking alone prepare herself for the great things God has in store for her. Look to the women in the Bible: Ruth, Esther, Mary Magdalene, women who were faced with difficult journeys, many times walking without a husband. Yet each one was a vessel of God's mighty plan. These women did not shrink back from their paths. They walked with faith, and because of their unwavering trust in God, they became pillars of strength for us all. To the woman who feels judged for walking alone, I want to remind you that judgment is not your burden to bear. Society may try to define you by what you lack, but God knows your value. He sees the depth of your soul, the strength of your heart, and the beauty in your spirit. You are not less because you walk alone. You are simply walking in His timing toward the place He has ordained for you. Now, this is not to say that walking alone is always easy. There will be moments of vulnerability. There will be times when you long for companionship. But let me tell you this, there is strength in your vulnerability. When you stand alone, you are not weak. You are in a place where God can do His greatest work in you. You are being shaped, molded, and prepared for a future that is more incredible than you could ever imagine. To the women out there who are walking this journey alone, hear me. You are not alone in the eyes of God. You are cherished, you are loved, and you are never forgotten. His presence is with you every step of the way. And when the world tries to make you feel as though you are incomplete, know that you are already complete in Him. So, to every woman who walks alone with no husband, be encouraged. Your path is not one of despair, but one of great purpose. You are walking towards something beautiful, something greater than you can see in this moment. Keep moving forward in faith. Keep trusting, and know that God is guiding every step. God bless you all. The strength of a woman is a profound force, often unseen by the naked eye, but felt deeply by those around her. Last, from the moment she is born, she is gifted with an inherent resilience, an unyielding spirit that allows her to navigate the complexities of life. This strength is not defined by the roles society places upon her, but by the quiet determination she carries in her heart. We must begin by understanding that a woman's strength is not just physical, although that too can be significant. Her true strength is found in her heart, in her mind, and in her soul. It is the strength that allows her to keep moving forward in the face of adversity, to rise again after every fall, and to continue on the path when the road seems impossibly difficult. A woman's strength is rooted in her ability to endure, to thrive, and to overcome, not just for herself, but for others as well. There is a quiet strength in a woman who faces the world alone, who walks through life with no partner at her side. This strength is not the absence of fear, but the presence of courage to face whatever comes her way. It is the strength to stand tall when the world may try to make her feel small. It is the strength to say, I will not be broken by my circumstances, and to keep pressing forward when it feels like the weight of the world is bearing down upon her. Women are often called to play many roles: daughter, sister, mother, friend. And in each role, They exhibit a different aspect of their strength. But when a woman is left to walk alone, she does not lose any part of herself. Instead, she is given the opportunity to discover a deeper well of strength within her. The woman who walks without a husband, without a partner, does not fall apart because of her solitude. Instead, she grows stronger, finding within herself the capacity to build a life that is full of purpose, peace, and fulfillment. In a world that often values relationships above all else, it can be easy for a woman to feel less than or incomplete if she does not have a husband by her side. But the true measure of a woman's strength is not found in her marital status or in the approval of others. It is found in her unwavering sense of self, her understanding that her worth is not determined by whether or not she is partnered. A woman who walks alone is not a woman who lacks anything. She is a woman who is fully capable of charting her own course and achieving her own goals. The strength of a woman is also reflected in her ability to nurture and support others. She may walk alone, but she is not isolated in her strength. Her strength allows her to pour into others, to lift up those around her, to encourage and inspire. She becomes a pillar of support for her friends, her family, and her community. Her strength is not a solitary force, but one that has the power to touch lives and change the world. In many ways, the strength of a woman who walks alone is a reflection of her faith. Faith in herself, faith in the journey, and faith in the greater plan that is unfolding before her. She is not discouraged by the absence of a partner because she knows that she is never truly alone. She draws her strength from a deeper source, one that cannot be shaken or diminished by earthly circumstances. This strength is the foundation upon which she builds her life, and it is this strength that carries her through even the most difficult of times. A woman's independence is a testament to her self-reliance, her ability to stand on her own 2 feet, and her unwavering determination to live life on her terms. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing her own worth, the strength to make decisions that align with her values, and the courage to walk a path that is uniquely hers. Independence is not just about being able to provide for oneself or taking care of practical matters, although these are vital components. It is about the freedom to pursue her dreams, to define her own success, and to carve out a life that reflects her inner truth. For a woman who walks alone, independence becomes an essential part of her journey. It is not a defense mechanism against loneliness, but a foundation upon which she builds her life. In walking alone, a woman discovers the depth of her own strength, realizing that she does not need to rely on anyone else to validate her existence or guide her steps. Her independence comes from within, from a place of deep self-assurance that she is fully capable of navigating the world on her own terms. This independence doesn't come overnight. It is cultivated over time through experiences that challenge and shape her, through trials that teach her resilience and courage. Every step she takes toward independence is a step toward a clearer understanding of her purpose. And purpose, my friends, is the compass that guides her along her journey. Purpose is what drives a woman to wake up each morning with a sense of direction. It is the reason she moves forward even when the path ahead seems unclear or difficult. A woman who walks alone often finds her purpose in the space where the noise of the world fades away, where she can listen to her own heart and to the still, small voice of God. She learns to trust that the dreams placed within her are not random. They are part of a divine plan that only she can fulfill. This sense of purpose gives her the energy to keep moving even when others might doubt her ability to succeed on her own. It becomes her anchor, the thing that grounds her in the midst of challenges and doubts. It fuels her drive to make a difference in the world, to contribute to her community, and to leave a legacy that reflects her deepest convictions. Independence and purpose are inextricably linked. A woman who knows her purpose is not easily swayed by external circumstances or the expectations of others. She is not defined by her relationship status, nor does she seek validation from the world around her. Her purpose gives her the clarity to say yes to the right opportunities and no to those that do not align with her values. It gives her the strength to walk away from situations that do not serve her growth, to let go of relationships that hinder her progress, and to boldly pursue the path that God has set before her. It is important to understand that independence is not about isolation. It is about being strong enough to stand on her own, but wise enough to lean on others when needed. A woman who walks alone can still be surrounded by a community of supportive friends and family, and she can still find strength and connection. But at the core of her being, she knows that her sense of independence comes from within, from her deep connection to her own values and the clarity of her purpose. Purpose is what transforms a woman's life from one of mere existence into one of intentional living. It is what turns her daily tasks into acts of meaning and significance. A woman who walks alone with purpose does not wander aimlessly through life. She moves forward with intention, knowing that each step she takes is a step toward fulfilling the unique role she was created to play in the world. In the life of every woman who walks alone, there comes a moment when she must confront the uncertainty of the future and the feeling of isolation. It is in these moments that the most powerful choice she can make is to trust in God's plan. Trusting in God's plan does not always come easily, especially when the road ahead is unclear or filled with challenges. Yet it is precisely in these moments of doubt and uncertainty that trust becomes the anchor that keeps her grounded. Trusting in God's plan requires a deep, unwavering faith that the journey she is on, no matter how difficult or lonely, is leading her to a place of fulfillment and purpose. This kind of trust is not based on immediate results or visible outcomes, but on the belief that God, in His infinite wisdom, is guiding every step of her path. While the world may encourage self-reliance and control over every aspect of life, the woman who trusts in God's plan surrenders her own agenda to the greater purpose that God has set for her. This trust is not passive, it is active faith rooted in the knowledge that God sees the bigger picture and that He knows what is best for her. It requires the courage to move forward even when the path is not clear, to make decisions based on faith and conviction, and to lean on God's promises in times of struggle. Trusting in God's plan is about believing that even in the hardest moments, God is still working behind the scenes to bring about a good purpose. When a woman walks alone, it may feel like she is navigating life without a map, unsure of which direction to take or how to handle the challenges that arise. Yet, in the quiet moments of solitude, when all the noise of the world fades away, she can hear God's gentle voice guiding her steps. His plan for her life is unfolding step by step, and she need not rush the process. The woman who trusts in God's plan understands that His timing is perfect, and that while the road may not always be easy, it is leading her toward a destination of peace, purpose, and joy. This trust also enables her to let go of the need for control. In a world that often promotes the idea that we must control every aspect of our lives in order to succeed, the woman who trusts in God's plan is able to release her grip on what she cannot control. She knows that there is freedom in surrender, and that when she places her life in God's hands, He will work all things together for her good. Trusting in God's plan is also about finding peace in the waiting. In moments of uncertainty, when things are not happening according to her own timeline, or when doors seem to be closing, it can be easy to become discouraged. But the woman who trusts in God understands that waiting is not a sign of failure. It is a season of preparation. God is at work even when she cannot see it, and the waiting is shaping her into the woman He has created her to be. Trusting in God's plan also involves a deep sense of hope, for she knows that the plans He has for her are far greater than any she could create for herself. This trust gives her the confidence to walk boldly even when the future feels uncertain, because she knows that her steps are guided by a loving Father who holds her life in His hands. It is a trust that empowers her to face each day with hope, knowing that God's plans for her are always good. Self-discovery is one of the most profound and transformative journeys a woman can undertake. It is the process of coming to know herself, not through the lens of others' expectations or society's standards, but through her own eyes, rooted in the truth of who she is at her core. When a woman walks alone, especially without a husband or partner by her side, she is given the unique opportunity to explore and uncover layers of her identity that might have remained hidden under the weight of external pressures. This journey of self-discovery is not always easy. It requires a woman to confront the parts of herself that may have been neglected, overlooked, or even suppressed. It may ask her to face fears, insecurities, and doubts that she has carried with her for years. But it is also a journey that leads to profound growth, healing, and empowerment. Through self-discovery, a woman begins to understand her strengths, her weaknesses, and the depths of her capacity for resilience, compassion, and love. She learns to honor her emotions, her experiences, and her intuition. When walking alone, a woman often has more space to reflect on who she is, what she values, and what she wants out of life. She is free to make decisions that align with her true self rather than conforming to the expectations of others. This freedom to explore and grow is a powerful gift. It allows her to shed the roles and labels that society might impose on her and embrace the fullness of who she is, free from judgment. It is through this process of self-discovery that she begins to realize that her worth is not tied to her relationship status or the approval of others. Her worth is intrinsic, rooted in the unique person she was created to be. Self-discovery also leads to a deeper connection with God. When a woman walks alone, she often finds herself seeking a deeper understanding of her purpose in life. And this quest for meaning often draws her closer to the Creator. She begins to understand that her life has a purpose far greater than any earthly role she might play. As she unearths her true self, she learns to trust in God's plan for her life and discovers how she fits into His greater design. The process of self-discovery is not a one-time event, but an ongoing journey. As life unfolds and new experiences arise, a woman continues to uncover new facets of herself. Each experience, whether joyful or painful, becomes an opportunity for growth, learning, and deeper self-awareness. Through self-discovery, a woman learns not only who she is, but also who she is becoming. She becomes more attuned to her strengths and more accepting of her vulnerabilities. She embraces her individuality and recognizes the power that lies within her to create the life she desires. This journey also leads to a greater sense of purpose. When a woman fully understands herself, her passions, and her gifts, she is better equipped to pursue her calling with clarity and conviction. Self-discovery empowers her to take bold steps toward her goals, knowing that she has the inner resources to achieve them. Whether she is building a career, pursuing a dream, or contributing to her community, the foundation of self-awareness allows her to approach each endeavor with confidence and determination. Through self-discovery, a woman learns to love herself as she is, not as society expects her to be, but as God created her to. This love is not about perfection. It is about embracing her uniqueness and recognizing her value. It is through this deep, unconditional love for herself that she finds the strength to walk confidently through life, knowing that she is enough just as she is. One of the most significant challenges a woman faces, particularly when walking alone, is the weight of judgment. Society has long imposed expectations on women, defining them by their relationships, roles, and appearances. For a woman who is not walking with a partner, the judgment often comes in the form of pity or the suggestion that she is somehow incomplete. Yet it is crucial to understand that judgment from others does not define her worth or her journey. Judgment is a natural byproduct of societal norms. People often find comfort in labeling others according to what is familiar or what aligns with their own experiences. But when a woman steps outside of these expectations, whether by choosing to remain single, pursuing a different path, or making decisions that defy convention, she becomes a target for judgment. The world tends to place women in boxes: the wife, the mother, the caregiver. But what happens when a woman does not fit neatly into any of these boxes? The world has a way of making her feel as if she does not belong, as though she is somehow less than. However, the woman who walks alone, particularly without a husband or partner, has an opportunity to rise above this judgment. She has the power to redefine herself, to assert that her value is not determined by the approval or disapproval of others. Her worth is intrinsic, not based on fulfilling someone else's idea of what her life should look like. The opinions of others may sting, but they are not the final word. Overcoming judgment begins with the realization that the voices of others are fleeting and shallow compared to the deep, unwavering truth of who she is. The woman who walks alone must remember that she is not defined by external expectations. Her identity is shaped by her values, her faith, and her personal experiences, not by societal pressures. When she grasps this truth, judgment loses its power. It may still come, but it no longer holds the weight it once did. A woman who walks alone must also learn to embrace the strength that comes from walking through life unapologetically. She is free to pursue her own dreams, goals, and passions without being tethered to someone else's narrative for her life. She can choose her own path and walk it with confidence, knowing that she is living authentically. The power to overcome judgment lies in her ability to remain true to herself, even when others may try to steer her in different directions or make her feel inferior for not conforming to expectations. Moreover, the woman that walks alone often has a unique opportunity to develop a deep sense of self-reliance. She learns to trust her own judgment and intuition to make decisions based on her own understanding of what is right for her. This self-reliance is a form of resistance to the judgment of others. It says, I do not need your approval to live my life. I am enough as I am. In overcoming judgment, a woman must also find peace within herself. It's easy to become discouraged or feel inadequate when others cast judgment upon you, but peace comes when she realizes that the only judgment that matters is the one that comes from God. His opinion is the only one that holds eternal weight. God has created her with purpose, and her value is not contingent upon her relationship status or her conformity to society's expectations. By embracing this truth, a woman can rise above the judgment of others and live freely, boldly, and with purpose. In a world that often emphasizes the importance of connection, companionship, and constant activity, solitude can seem like something to be avoided. Yet for a woman who walks alone, solitude is not something to fear or resist. It is something to embrace. Solitude is a powerful, transformative space where a woman can deepen her connection to herself, to God, and to the world around her. It is in this space of solitude that a woman finds clarity, healing, and the opportunity for personal growth that may not be available in the chaos of everyday life. Solitude provides a woman with the rare gift of time to reflect, time to think, and time to simply be. In solitude, she is free from the demands and distractions that often come with relationships and external commitments. This freedom allows her to focus inwardly, to listen to the quiet voice of her heart and the guiding whispers of the Holy Spirit. It is in these moments of stillness that she may discover new passions, new desires, and new truths about herself that were previously hidden beneath the noise of the world. In solitude, a woman has the opportunity to develop a deeper relationship with herself. She can ask herself the important questions: who am I? What do I truly want from life? What are my deepest values? The answers to these questions cannot always be found in the busyness of life or through the opinions of others. Solitude provides the space for self-reflection and self-discovery, allowing a woman to reconnect with her true self, free from the expectations or judgments of the world. Moreover, solitude creates the conditions for spiritual growth. It is in the quiet, sacred moments of solitude that a woman can deepen her relationship with God. When the distractions of life fade away, she can hear God's voice more clearly, feel His presence more deeply, and experience His love more intimately. Solitude is a place of prayer and worship where a woman can surrender her burdens, express her hopes and fears, and receive the peace that only God can provide. Through this communion with God, she becomes more aligned with His will for her life, and her purpose becomes clearer. Embracing solitude also allows a woman to cultivate inner peace. In a world that often feels overwhelming and fast-paced, solitude offers an opportunity to slow down, to breathe deeply, and to center herself. It is a time to release the stresses and anxieties that come from external pressures, whether from work, relationships, or societal expectations. In solitude, a woman can simply be, without the need to perform, prove, or achieve. This stillness is a form of self-care, a way to recharge emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Solitude is not about isolation or loneliness, as society might often frame it. Instead, it is about choosing to be present with oneself, to be fully aware of one's thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It is about understanding that a woman does not need to be in constant relationship or engagement with others to feel complete. In solitude, she is enough. She learns that her worth is not contingent on the presence or approval of others, but on her inherent value as a child of God. The woman who embraces solitude finds that it is a powerful tool for personal growth, spiritual renewal, and emotional healing. It allows her to move through life with greater clarity, peace, and understanding. When a woman walks alone, she does not walk in emptiness. Rather, she walks in the fullness of her own being, supported by the quiet strength that comes from embracing solitude. Confidence is often seen as something that is externally displayed, a bold voice, an assertive demeanor, a confident walk. However, true confidence, especially for a woman who walks alone, is built from within. It is a quiet, unshakable knowing that she is worthy, capable, and strong, regardless of what the world may say. Inner confidence is the foundation upon which a woman stands, and it gives her the courage to navigate life's challenges, pursue her dreams, and live authentically. Building inner confidence is a process that takes time and intentional effort. It begins with self-acceptance, the understanding that, regardless of her circumstances or the judgments of others, she is enough. A woman who walks alone may face moments of doubt where she questions her worth or ability. In these moments, building inner confidence means reminding herself that she does not need the validation of others to affirm her value. Her worth is intrinsic, defined not by external achievements or relationships, but by the simple fact that she is a unique, valuable creation of God. As a woman develops this deep sense of self-acceptance, she can begin to trust herself. Trusting herself means trusting her decisions, her instincts, and her abilities. It means giving herself permission to make mistakes and to learn from them without harsh self-criticism. A woman who walks alone is often forced to rely on her own judgment, and through this process she learns to trust that she is capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and resilience. Every decision she makes, whether big or small, reinforces her belief in her own abilities and strengthens her confidence. Moreover, building inner confidence requires a shift in mindset. It means changing the narrative from one of self-doubt to one of self-belief. Instead of focusing on what she lacks or what she fears, a woman who walks alone focuses on her strengths and the opportunities available to her. She recognizes that life is not about being perfect or having everything figured out, but about growing and learning. With this mindset, she becomes more open to challenges and less afraid of failure, because she knows that each step, whether forward or backward, is part of her growth. In addition to self-acceptance and trust, building inner confidence involves taking action. Confidence is not something that is simply granted. It is something that is earned through experience. A woman who walks alone does not wait for the world to give her permission to live boldly. She takes action even when she feels unsure or afraid. Each step she takes outside of her comfort zone, each challenge she faces, and each fear she overcomes adds to her growing confidence. By consistently taking action, even in the face of uncertainty, she builds a sense of competence and self-assurance that cannot be easily shaken. Another key aspect of building inner confidence is learning to silence the voices of negativity. The world can be full of criticism, doubt, and comparison, but a woman who walks alone learns to filter out these external voices and listen to the one that matters most, her own. She learns to trust her inner voice, the one that tells her she is capable, that reminds her of her worth, and that encourages her to keep moving forward. Finally, inner confidence is built on a foundation of faith. For a woman who walks alone, her confidence is strengthened when she places her trust in God. She knows that her strength does not come from her own abilities alone, but from the power of God working within her. This faith gives her the courage to face the unknown with confidence, knowing that she is never truly alone and that with God all things are possible. One of the greatest gifts a woman who walks alone has is the freedom to create her own future. Without the constraints of societal expectations or the influence of a partner's desires, she has the opportunity to shape her life according to her own vision, dreams, and values. This freedom is a powerful tool that enables a woman to step boldly into the life she is meant to live, unencumbered by the pressures or compromises that often come with being in a relationship. Creating your own future begins with recognizing that the power to design one's life lies within. For many women, the idea of creating a future that is entirely their own may feel daunting or even overwhelming. Society often sends the message that a woman's future is tied to her role in a partnership or to the fulfillment of traditional expectations. However, the woman who walks alone is free from these external definitions. She can envision her future based on her passions, her dreams, and her calling, rather than based on the roles she is supposed to fill. This freedom is not just about choosing a career or making life decisions. It is about the profound opportunity to live authentically without the limitations that may be imposed by others. In this space of freedom, a woman has the chance to reconnect with her deepest desires and aspirations. She can ask herself the important question, what do I truly want from life? The answer to this question can be a powerful force in guiding her toward the future she envisions. This is a time of exploration, of trying new things, of discovering talents and passions that may have been buried or forgotten. and of creating a life that aligns with her innermost beliefs. For a woman who walks alone, the process of creating her future is deeply personal. It is not about conforming to anyone else's vision or living out someone else's expectations. It is about being true to herself and building the life that reflects her heart's desire. The freedom to create one's future also brings with it the responsibility to take ownership of that future. A woman who walks alone understands that she cannot wait for someone else to dictate her path or for life to just happen to her. She must take deliberate steps toward her goals and dreams, setting intentions and making decisions that align with her vision. This requires discipline, courage, and a willingness to take risks. The path may not always be easy, but the woman who walks alone is empowered by the knowledge that she is in control of her destiny. Each choice she makes, each action she takes, is a step toward creating the life she desires. Moreover, the freedom to create one's future is not just about personal success or fulfillment. It is also about making a difference in the world. A woman who walks alone has the opportunity to contribute to her community, to serve others, and to leave a legacy that reflects her values and her purpose. Her freedom is not a means of selfishness, but of empowerment. Empowerment to live a life of meaning and to have a lasting impact on those around her, whether through her career, her relationships, or her personal endeavors. She has the ability to shape the world in ways that are uniquely her own. Ultimately, the freedom to create your own future is about embracing the full potential of who you are and the life you can build. It is about acknowledging that you are not defined by your circumstances or your past, but by the choices you make moving forward. For a woman who walks alone, the future is full of endless possibilities, each one waiting to be shaped by her unique vision, strength, and determination. The freedom to create is not just a privilege. It is a responsibility, one that empowers her to live a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment. In conclusion, the woman who walks alone is not defined by her solitude, but by the strength, resilience, and purpose she carries within. She is a woman who chooses to trust in God's plan, to embrace her own self-discovery, and to stand confidently in her truth, free from the judgment of others. Her journey is one of growth, healing, and empowerment as she learns to navigate life with faith, courage, and grace. Through solitude, she discovers the richness of her own heart and the depths of her potential. She is free to create her own future, to build a life that is uniquely hers, and to step into the fullness of who she is meant to be. The path she walks may not always be easy, but it is hers to walk with purpose and conviction. With each step, she becomes more attuned to her inner strength, her worth, and her calling. She understands that her value is not determined by the presence or absence of a partner, but by the unwavering truth that she is enough, just as she is. And as she moves forward, she carries with her the confidence that her journey, though walked alone, is never walked in isolation. God is with her every step of the way, guiding, empowering, and strengthening her to live a life of purpose and impact. The woman who walks alone does so with hope, with faith, and with the knowledge that her journey is one of great significance. She is not alone in her walk, for she is surrounded by the love of God and the strength that comes from knowing who she is. Her life is a testament to the power of choosing to walk in faith, to trust in God's plan, and to boldly step into the future she is called to create.